it sure has been a hot minute since I've made an Animal Crossing lore video, and while I did mention in my most recent livestream that I would like to branch out on video topics, I still want to do these Animal Crossing videos. It is still very entertaining looking into these characters and trying to find out their backstories and mysteries. So today, I thought we would talk about a character that I've been meaning to talk about for a while now, and that character being everyone's favorite seagull, Gulliver. Now, I have mentioned several times on this channel how I grew up playing the original Animal Crossing game. I have also brought up how even though it was fun, it was lacking with activities to do. Mostly all you did was talk to the animals, collect fish, bugs, and fossils, and gather money, along with decorating your house. And while the newer installments like New Leaf and New Horizons aren't perfect, they definitely are not only of higher quality, they have a lot more stuff to do, which is why sometimes the little things in the first game seemed more exciting. For example, those balls to kick around. Seriously, Nintendo, I'm still waiting on you to bring these back. I know they aren't impressive, but what else am I gonna do? Actually go outside? No thanks. So yeah, sometimes the little things that popped up in the original game were super exciting to us, as there was nothing else to do. And when I was younger playing on the GameCube, every time I saw Gulliver, I was so excited. But in reality, Gulliver was very simple, as his only function was to reward the player with a special item of furniture, usually an artifact from around the world, if you answer his questions or you help him. While this was and still is a very simple concept, Gulliver is loved in the Animal Crossing community. Mostly. I mean, with his sense of humor, unique dialogue, sometimes referencing other Nintendo franchises, and him giving you a special item, what's not to love? Well, maybe there is something not to love, but we'll get to that. Let's first go over what happens when you run into him in New Horizons. In New Horizons, Gulliver will be found unconscious on the beach, just like in previous games. After several attempts at waking him up, and him muttering some stuff in his sleep, he will eventually wake up. And after talking with you, he will attempt to contact his crew to come pick him up on his phone. However, he finds himself unable to do so, as his phone is broken and it is missing parts. Gulliver will then ask the player to find 5 missing parts to return to him. The missing communicator parts are buried anywhere on the beach, in small holes that have occasional jets of water shooting out of them. Once all the parts are found and returned to Gulliver, he will call up his shipmates so they can help him. For the remainder of the day, he will pace on the beach. The following day, the player will receive a letter and a present attached from Gulliver. And that's that. You help Gulliver get back on his ship, and you get an item. However, when looking into this, something kinda sad is actually happening here. Allow me to explain. After you get Gulliver the 5 communicator parts, he lets his crew know that he fell overboard again, and he sends them his coordinates. He is now stuck on your island for the rest of the day. Now, most people would just leave him alone, but if you talk to him again, you soon realize something. When you talk to him again, he will always say something about how his crew should be on their way to pick him up. But when he checks, he always gets no replies. Now, many may have thought Gulliver called his crew when he retrieved all the missing communicator parts. But according to this, it's more likely that he did a voice-to-text message. Furthermore, it seems that his crew is actively avoiding him. Every time Gulliver checks his phone, his message and his coordinates is left unread, meaning the crew saw it, but they aren't replying to it. And Gulliver always seems to find an excuse for this, like how they are planning a return party for him. But the truth seems a bit more sinister. From this dialogue, I feel it is easy to assume that Gulliver's crew does not like him, and he is just too oblivious to notice this. Just think about it. Gulliver on a weekly basis is landing on your island, never goes into too much detail on how he got there, sometimes even complains of being in pain, and his phone is smashed up with 5 communicator parts buried in random spots in the sand. Like, I know things get buried in the sand at beaches, heck, I live near one, but why are they scattered so far apart? Wouldn't they all just be around his body? This seems pretty sus to me. So here's how I think this goes down. Gulliver, bless his heart, isn't the brightest, and he may even be a little bit annoying to some people. With his constant talking and jokes, his crew most likely doesn't like him, and some of you may think this is stretching, but Gulliver does mention when he believes they are setting up a return party for him that they would bring out the good soda. The good is in all caps here, which would likely indicate that this isn't just normal soda. I may be wrong, but that may be a reference to it actually being alcohol, in which Gulliver may possibly fall into the stereotype of a drunk sailor. Gulliver even mentions having tasty hallucinations, which could also coincide with the good soda being alcohol, as he may be hallucinating under the influence. To put it bluntly, Gulliver isn't popular with his crew, so I feel that his crew got tired of him and his jokes and him possibly being drunk. More than likely, he was holding the crew back with his antics, so they decided every now and then to get rid of him. This would explain all the questions I asked earlier. Why is his phone smashed, with 5 communicator parts buried in different spots around the island? Because his crew forced him overboard onto your island. They would then smash his phone and bury his communicator parts to stall him from contacting them. Heck, this even explains why he doesn't tell you why or how he ended up on your island. He always seems confused or lies about how he got there. Sometimes he just guesses on what happened to him. He may honestly just be drunk off that good soda when his crew does this, possibly so they can finally either get some work done without watching their drunken crewmate, or just have some peace and quiet. Some of the dialogue even backs this up as he mutters, "No, you walk the plank." Is Gulliver reliving a memory in his sleep? As maybe he was forced to walk the plank? Was this due to his crew not liking him? And according to this dialogue, where he says that his crew loves to see him fall overboard, this seems very likely. Everything seems to add up. Gulliver is a very talkative and possibly drunk sailor who loves to travel as much as he loves to drink the good soda. And we get the impression that Gulliver may annoy his fellow crewmates due to his constant talking and possibly being under the influence. To put it bluntly, the crew does not like Gulliver, so the crew takes him overboard when he is either asleep from his own doing or with the help of some of that good soda, although this dialogue implies the latter. They then smash his phone and bury his communicator parts on your island to delay Gulliver from contacting them, so that way they can either get some work done or so they can have some peace and quiet. And they would have gone away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling with their plans, helping the rather helpless Gulliver, which is why the crew is ignoring Gulliver's messages, because they thought they would have had a lot more free time from Gulliver. But you may be asking, why would the crew eventually get him if they dislike him so much? I mean, Gulliver is apparently always falling overboard and getting lost on your island, so the crew must come back and take him eventually, right? Well, my viewers, I imagine the crew dislikes Gulliver very much, but they also don't want to get in trouble, whether that be with law enforcement for unlawfully endangering Gulliver by throwing him overboard, or by ship command for the same reason. And I feel while the crew dislikes Gulliver, they aren't monsters. They don't want him stranded, injured, or worse. Which is why, even if you choose to not help Gulliver and just let him sleep on your beach, you notice he is gone the next day. So his crew will eventually come back to get him. More than likely, not only to make sure Gulliver is okay, but to make sure they don't get in any trouble. So there we have it. Gulliver is a talkative, possibly drunk jokester on his ship. His crewmates don't like him because of this, so they toss him overboard, bury his phone communicator parts in random spots on the beach to have a day away from him. Then they plan to return the next day to pick him up in order not to get in trouble, and because they aren't monsters who want him dead or anything. But they will choose to ignore him when Gulliver is able to contact them early, and Gulliver is too oblivious to realize the disdain from his fellow crewmates. So the cycle will continue until he realizes that his crewmates don't like him. But how oblivious he is to these signs, I don't think that'll be anytime soon. So that is what's happening to Gulliver in Animal Crossing New Horizons. And maybe just help Gulliver out. He may possibly be a talkative drunk sailor, but he seems like a good guy with good intentions. So help a stranded seagull out, even if he still has to wait a day to be picked up. But guys, that was the video. I hope you enjoyed it. It's been a hot minute since I've uploaded an Animal Crossing theory / character background story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let me know what you guys think of it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please leave a like. And if you're new, please subscribe for updates on new content. But guys, I just want to thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in the next video.